And welcome to Week 10 in college football. This is Wide Right CFB. I'm your host, Coach Kess. And our first panelist, please welcome the pride of Dripping Springs, Christian. What's going on, Christian?
Nothing, just watching the Houston Astros.
All right. But what were you watching beforehand? We just talked about this.
The Texas game.
The Texas game. And did Texas win or lose?
Win.
There you go. All right. Our next panelist, he's our expert. He is our expert in college football. Please welcome to the stream the guy that knows what the coaches know. My son, Hunter. Hunter, what's going on, son? How you doing?
You know, good.
It looks like you're about to go work at a dock somewhere, unloading boxes.
Duoc.
All right.
All my friends make sandwiches with pizza.
Sandwiches. Pizzas. Well, you make pizzas, so.
I don't really make pizzas.
All right. We're going to hang out for a second. We got a first commenter. Let's see who our first commenter is. Dialogue. Oh, Pat Paulson. Pat, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. We got some baseball going tonight. We got some football going tonight. Looks like Ohio State played in like the biggest windstorm of all time. All right. We'll give it a few more minutes. How are you guys doing tonight? Oh, Jude's here. I'll be there soon, hopefully. Jude, the Astros are 4-1 right now. You could simulcast, watch some, not watch some. All right, we're watching Alabama and LSU finish up here. Alabama's leading 21-17. Now LSU is driving. They're on Alabama's side of the field, and pass interference. All right, they're gonna get closer and closer. All right, should we get into today's action, Hunter?
Yeah, let's go ahead and jump into it. Start working through it.
Well, let's get to the top 25. Man, there's a lot of upsets today. I'm telling you.
There's some really bad ones currently happening.
Well, let's jump to number 20. Let's start with Syracuse and Pitt. I mean, Pitt showed Pat Narduzzi style football here, just going and just roughing up Syracuse. The score in this game was 19-9. 19-9. That's a Pat Narduzzi type game. You know that?
Yeah.
All right. Our next panelist, he's the beast from the East. He's the assistant to the president of the Doug Flutie fan club. His picks are almost lead pipe every time. Please welcome to the program, Lindsey Coyle.
Almost lead pipe every time.
Almost lead pipe.
I didn't even review how today went, so I don't know how lead pipe.
A little blue help to make it lead pipe.
Lead pipe. Oh, you got the Texas game right. I'll tell you that. I know that for a fact. I know that you picked Texas to win. Texas won.
The Longhorns won?
Yep.
That was my upset of the week. All right.
Nice. 1-0.
I also picked Georgia to win.
Yeah, they won too. What was your score on that game? I think your score was pretty good.
My score is way off on that game.
Oh, okay. And then it was or Hunter's score was close. It was because
I didn't pick this game.
You picked Georgia and Tennessee.
Oh, Georgia, Tennessee. My score was like something like in the. I had a 14-point difference, but it wasn't like this. It was a little bit more points.
We're gonna call Lindsey the Greek. Pat Paulson made that suggestion, so we're gonna stick with it. Why not? Why not? Why not? All right. So we're covering some. He heard me call him out. Please welcome to the stream. He covers the left coast like no other. He's a big fan of the Trojans. That's USC football. Please welcome to the stream. Cool, Jude Santa Cruz. What's going on, Jude? How you doing?
What's up, guys? Fight on, man. 4-1. I guess I can pull over.
Hey, hold on, no. There's like 4 people in this panel right now because there's nobody watching that are watching the Astros game. So
I'm at my mom's house. She does not have television, so I was watching on my phone, but I gave that up to come over here.
Whoa, man, I can't thank you enough because
that's a hell of a run by LSU.
That is
I know
dedication
a
right there.
huge Astros fan you are, Jude. So we'll
Just
do our best.
Keep me posted.
All right. Well, Framer's out of the game. They took Framer Valdez out of the game. They have
they hook him.
Well, they got the middle relief guy set up because it's the top of the 7th.
Oh yeah, 7th, 8th, 9th, man. We got 7th, 8th, 9th going. Who did they bring in?
Spoiler
Segura?
alert! If somebody out there, the one person that's watching the stream, if you're trying not to know what the score is of baseball, cover your ears. Right now, the Astros are leading 4-1, top of the 7th, 1 out, and that's what I got. All right, so we're talking number 20 Syracuse going down to Pitt today, 19-9, and just an absolute slugfest. We're gonna try to run through tonight's program a little quick. I can hear who's got me on. Is that Hunter?
No.
Hold on. I'm gonna mute you real quick. Can you hear me? I can still hear me. Who am I listening to? Oh, Hunter, unmute yourself.
So
I get feedback.
it might be the phone. The phone kind of sucks. I know that from experience.
Let me jump out and come back in.
It's Jude.
Hey, let me jump out and come back in.
All right, that'll work. I'll bring you back in. All right, anyway, so we're talking all kinds of things, and football has not been one of them. All right. Let's get into some upsets. Let's just jump into the top 25. And we'll do salute to service here in just a minute as well. Add to stream. Here's our boy, cool Jude Santa Cruz.
If it's still bad, I'll just mute myself.
I'll mute you, Jude. I'll mute you, so then I can talk to you. All right, I'm gonna mute Jude, but whenever we bring Jude in, let's talk about. I still got it. I think it's Hunter's phone. All right, let's talk about number 20 Syracuse going down to Pittsburgh. Let's start with Lindsay.
I give me 1 sec. I'm still bringing up my. Hold on.
I'll go to Hunter then. Hunter, what do you got on this game?
Thank you.
It's like I said on Wednesday. The playbook's out on Syracuse. Take Sean Tucker out of the game and run the ball.
All right.
I mean, it's not. I don't think I didn't see it, but I mean that's just kind of like what I figured happened. That's what Syracuse has to do. They have to go through Sean Tucker, and if you take him away from their ability to use him, and you just run the ball, nothing they can do. Syracuse doesn't have any answer for it.
LSU just took the lead. LSU's up 24-21, minute 47 to go in the fourth quarter. Here's a score for you. We'll get to some scores while Lindsay's pulling everything up. Houston and SMU have scored 126 total points, and they still got half of the fourth quarter to go. The score is SMU 70, Houston 56. So there you go. Looks like Notre Dame's going to go ahead and beat Clemson. There's a minute 30 to go in that game. Notre Dame's up by
Auburn's making 35
to 14. Michigan has finally started to play football today. They're beating Rutgers 45-17. Utah is up on Arizona right now, 45-10. Mississippi State's holding on against Auburn. There's no quit in the Cadillac Williams-led Auburn Tigers. And they are up. They're fighting back 24-19. Mississippi State leads. South Carolina is handling Vanderbilt.
Vanderbilt.
Louisville's handling James Madison 33-10. We got Florida State just mollywhopping Miami 38-3. NC State and Wake Forest are in a pretty good game. NC State leads 27-14. USC and Cal just kicked off. Hawaii and Fresno State just kicked off. At 9:30 my time, UCLA and Arizona kicks off. And Colorado State and San Jose State. All right. Let's get back to more exciting action here. UCF beats Memphis today. I think Lindsay had UCF going down to Memphis. Lindsay, what are your thoughts on this game?
I had UCF and Memphis. I said that Memphis wins 28-24. What actually happened in that game?
UCF won 35-28.
Oh, I was wrong. I completely wrong on that one.
No, it was a good game. Predicted a good game.
It was close for a good chunk.
Yeah, I thought that UCF going in didn't have the defense to stop Memphis's running game, but
they still don't. They still don't. It was not good.
I thought that was going to be the difference in this one. when you break it down, UCF had the superior running game, but Memphis had it over them slightly in the air with a better passing game, some more turnovers, and ultimately came down to UCF. So, I thought it'd be a little bit other way around there.
Yeah, Hunter, your thoughts on this game?
UCF was able to connect on some big plays in the fourth quarter that set them apart.
Yeah, I watched most of the third quarter of this game, and Kentucky was just running up and down the field on UCF, but UCF was just able to go and out compete against Kentucky's defense. So
Memphis,
I mean, whatever. I'm sorry against Memphis. I apologize. Jude, what are your thoughts on Memphis and UCF here?
Like Lindsay said, that he predicted the 28-24, that was going to be a good game. And by no means was a blowout. He just pretty much got the score backwards. It was about an 8-point game or something like that. Good game. I mean, I agree with what everyone said. UCF just can't. That defense can't stop the running game. And if you win in the trenches, I think a lot of us have said this all year long. Whatever side of the ball you're on, if you win in the trenches, I mean, you have good opportunity to win because that could set up the pass.
Yep.
They have to when they got to drop someone else into the box to stop the run, and you get one man-to-man coverage, and you have good wide receivers. That's how you win football games, at least in modern day football.
Yep. All right, and the most underrated team in college football right now, number 19 Tulane, took down Tulsa today. The Green Wave rode in on the Golden Hurricane. Tulane wins 27-13. I didn't watch any of this game, but I know Tulane is a team that nobody wants to play right now. What are your thoughts, guys? We'll start with Lindsay.
Good football.
I mean, they had bad field position all day. Their starting field position was always working against them, but they had a really good power running game, and that's what brought them through. And they piled on the yards. They got a season high 357 yards on the ground, and that made the difference. They also had it in the air. A lot of good clutch passing in that one, and it's all they needed to get them up by the end of the game. So they're good on them for bringing their A game when they needed it, because if they didn't, then I think they would have had their share of troubles, but they came out on top because of it.
Yeah, see, Tulane was able to answer Tulsa. Anytime Tulsa made a score, Tulane was able to answer. I think that's what the biggest difference in the game was. All right, Hunter, what are your thoughts on Tulane and Tulsa?
Michael Pratt was the difference maker. He made great decisions all day, I thought, from what I saw. He may have made some turnovers. I don't know. I don't have the stats in front of me, but from what I watched with my eyes, it looked like Michael Pratt was the difference. His ability to throw the ball off the run game, I think, made the difference for Tulane. It allowed those running. It forced Tulsa chose to defend the pass more than the run, and Tulane exploited that. And when you run the ball and play good defense, you win football games.
Jude.
Yeah, when you win in the trenches, man, it doesn't matter what side of the ball you're on. I think I just said that about the last game, but no, that's how it is, man. When you win. When your interior linemen, offense or defense, when they dominate as much as Tulane did, where they allow you to get that many rushing yards, it just opens up the passing game. I mean, you got to drop someone else in the box sometimes too. So you're playing straight up man to man, and that's just hard. And when you have a quarterback that's making good decisions, it's tough to beat. So yeah, the Tulane played a really good game.
All right. Well, this is a game I kind of skipped over, but let's talk about it right now. Number 24, Texas, goes into Manhattan, Kansas, beats the Wildcats 34-27. Texas looked good early. They jumped out to a 31-10 lead, and then they allowed Kansas State to kind of creep back, and then Texas was able to step up on defense and make a big stop at the end of the game, forcing a turnover. I'll go with the resident Texas Longhorn fan, Hunter. Well, hold on. Let's start with Christian. Christian, what are your thoughts on Texas versus Kansas State? What did you see that you liked from Texas in that game?
I think it was I think it was a good game. I think it was one of the funniest moments was whenever they knocked out the ball and the commentator was talking about how one of the big linemen was trying to jump on it. Like he was a bear with honey, just trying to get it really fast. It was kind of funny to me. That's kind of the only thing I can really remember about that game because I didn't really start to watch it till the end.
You remembered a good part of the game, so that's pretty good. All right, Hunter, what do you think on this game?
No one needed this win more than Steve Sarkisian. This goes, and for a team, a guy, a fan base, everything, to go and say, hey, can you actually win in the fourth quarter on the road? You know, can you go and do that? And of course, like you have to go and say, well, man, they surrendered a big lead. K-State cut it close. But what I like is that at the last drive of the game, Steve Sarkisian was calling defensive plays. He was calling defensive plays. I mean, for a head coach, that's especially an offensive guy, to be that in tune with the team, something like I felt like I haven't seen from him in a while. It really, I think, to me, says this is a corner term for the team, or at least it could be. It remains to be seen how they play next week, but this is what they needed to do. Now they need to clean up some of those issues they had in the second half. They had a very promising drive that ended on a fumble with Xavier Worthy, then 2 punts, and then they had a drive that ended with a field goal. They went 3 and out to end the game. But I like that, or offensively they went 3 and out. But I like that they ran the ball. They focused on what brought them success all year, right? They beat Iowa State with it. And they stuck to the run. They beat K-State in the trenches. I mean, if I told someone 15 years ago, hey, Texas outrushed K-State, you thought I was lying to you, right? Because K-State always focused on running the ball, and Texas today came in with that focus and won the game because of that. And now they have 6 straight wins against K-State. Sark gets a win on the road against a very good team. And now you have TCU at night in Austin. So here you go.
All right. Since I know that Lindsay didn't watch this game, let's go to Jude.
This is my upset of the week.
Talking about Steve Sarkisian being in tune, man. I think he had a beer and a shot at halftime. He's his.
Man, I don't like those jokes, man.
That's all right. I've been trolling Jude on 2 live streams so far, so it's allowed.
They played great. They unfortunately, I hate, and this was something that happened when he was at Washington and at USC. He doesn't put his foot on the neck of the other team, man. You don't let them teams creep back in. When you're up 31-10, why not make it 51-17 instead of 31? Oh man, you've got to keep your foot on the throttle. Once they start to do that, they'll be all right. But look at the games they played. They almost beat Alabama this year. Then they're so up and down. But if they turn it around, I think they have a really good opportunity to be a good team next year. But who starts at quarterback next year?
Quinn Ewers.
Arch Manning. All right. On to Lindsay. Lindsay, give me your – I know you looked at the stats on this game, and I know you're going to have some insightful commentary on this. Lindsay, what are your thoughts on this?
If it wasn't without Bijan Robinson having such a good game, I don't know where the Longhorns would have been on this one. He had 209 yards and a touchdown on 30 carries and a couple of receptions for 44 yards. But when you're cruising along in the driver's seat and you're up 31-10, you can't just sputter out like they did in the second half. They only scored 3 points in the second half of the game. So, the defense wasn't as effective because they almost coughed up the lead. Thank God they had enough padding there to overcome the very different performance that they brought out on the field with them in the second half. If it wasn't for that, they would have been on the losing side of this. But luckily, everything went their way when it had to, and they've become eligible. They become bowl eligible for the first time under Sarkisian. So good for them. I think that you can't necessarily say that their entire program is back on track. They have some proving out to do, including to build on what Jude said. If you've got the lead, stick with it. You can't take your foot off the neck of your team. You've got to continue to build the lead and play consistently. They didn't have the consistent offensive performance in this one for me to really jump on board and say they got everything back on track, but they're a step closer for sure.
All right, we're going to take a little bit of time.
Can I say something real quick? Now, what is this? I mean, everyone talks about coaching trees. Look at the Pete Carroll coaching tree. Pete Carroll won national titles at USC and a Super Bowl in Seattle, and he's got these assistant coaches. Ed Orgeron won a national title. Lane Kiffin's doing great at Mississippi. He had the Tennessee job and the USC job. Sarkisian's at Texas. He was at Washington. He had the USC job. These Pete Carroll's coaching tree, they're really pretty phenomenal, even if it's only a few coaches. I mean, I think you got to stack his assistant coaches going on to coach programs of their own or pro teams of their own against some of the best ones there are, man, because these guys get phenomenal positions. I mean, everyone says Lane Kiffin's a joke, but he got the Raider job, he got the Tennessee job, and now he's at Ole Miss, and everyone says he's waiting for Saban to retire so he can go to Alabama, and that's probably not that far off.
I think Alabama was thinking more Dabo Sweeney than Lane Kiffin.
Who's Sarkisian go to Alabama?
No. No, Lane Kiffin. I think.
Okay. I was going to say he needs a better pedigree than what.
All right, let's take a little time out here, guys, and we have to talk about a little bit of business. Y'all ready for some business here?
Okay.
Right, yes, absolutely.
Wide Right CFB, and that's Wide Right College Football's 500-ish subscriber giveaway. Now, what you're going to win with this 500-ish subscriber giveaway is you're going to win 2 Wide Right CFB t-shirts of your size and choice. You're going to win a football autographed by all the members of the Wide Right CFB crew. You're also going to win a $50 gift card to Buffalo Wild Wings and a $50 gift card to Buffalo Wild Wings. So if you like football, you like t-shirts, and you like Buffalo Wild Wings, then you have to enter. Now, here's how it's going to play out. You have to be a subscriber. We're going to have a video that's going to come out the morning of the Heisman. You have to watch that video and comment on it and like it. And then the night after the Heisman's read, we're going to have a live stream. We're going to get together and we're going to go and announce a winner. So you have to be present to win. Wide Right CFB. Got to be there. Now, the live stream, we're not going to go on the same time we normally do. It's going to be an early live stream. So we're going to come on. We're going to knock it out. We're going to congratulate everybody, and that's it. And then we'll probably have scattered broadcasts from there through bowl season. So you got to sign up to win. Wide Right CFB. All right.
It's the most wonderful time of the year.
Are you talking about bowl season?
Baby.
Yeah.
Bowl season.
All right. So, update on the Astro game. Astros are top of the 8th. Astros are leading 4-1. Jude, hoop it up.
Ooh. Oh.
All right. LSU and Alabama have gone to overtime.
Oh, they got a field goal.
Yeah.
What a game.
Notre Dame has upset Clemson.
Jeez.
Let's get back into some football. So let's go right into – we need to go handle some business real quick. My favorite segment of every show. It's our salute to the service academies. Let's give a salute to them. And we have a CIC trophy winner today. Congratulations to the Air Force Fighting Falcons. They won 13-7 over the Black Knights of the Hudson Army, and they are the Commander-in-Chief trophy winner. So congratulations to the Air Force Academy. Hunter, what are your thoughts on this victory by Air Force?
Fist fight in the phone booth. Just kind of what I expected. It's what happens when these service academy teams play each other. Just fist fights in the phone booth. They both run the same offenses. They know the calls. They know everything. And really, Air Force has had a more talented team, and that's what made the difference. I watched some of the game, and it was, like I said, it was just hard-fought football. You can't really ask for much more out of them. I thought it'd be a little bit more high scoring just because Air Force could score and Army's been able to score some this year. But of course, it boils down to a 13-7 game. But you know what? 13-7 is just as exciting as 54-51. Good for Air Force. Congratulations, their first outright Commander-in-Chief trophy since 2016. Good game.
All right. Lindsay and Jude, anybody?
Air Force had a really good defense. They held Army down to 145 total yards on offense, 2.2 yards per rushing attempt on average. And you're not going to move the ball very effectively when you're up against a defense who is that stout against you. So good on the Air Force for bringing the D, and it gave them the win.
Jude?
Yeah, Air Force. played the game they needed to play, and they earned the Commander-in-Chief trophy. Congratulations to them. Hats off. What are they? I don't know what their nickname. The Fighting Falcons. That's right. The Fighting Falcons, man. Hats off to the Fighting Falcons. We all, like we've talked about all year, we all have a lot of respect for the service academies, and I take the Commander-in-Chief trophy. I think that's as prominent an award as you can get. So hats off to Air Force.
Yep. All right. Well, let's go on to our other service academies that were in action today. The Naval Academy goes down to Cincinnati, 20-10. And Navy played good, and I'll tell you where Navy's lacking. And I'm going to go ahead and toot my own horn here. Navy's offense isn't good enough. And right now, I don't think it's the scheme. I think it's the players they have. They have so many injuries on offense, and then they don't have the right players to go out and be successful with the offense they're running. It's really a shame to watch, but Navy had their chances today. They could have beaten Cincinnati. They really played Cincinnati tough. Now, I know Hunter's got a pretty strong opinion on this game. I'm going to start with Lindsay. I'm going to start with Jude. Jude, what are your thoughts on Navy going down to Cincinnati today?
I think every single one of us talked about this game on Wednesday, and we all said that Navy was going to be game, but probably going to lose by about 2 touchdowns. And ultimately, that's what happened. They just didn't have the athletes that Cincinnati had. They had their chances, just didn't capitalize on them. And once they, I don't know, once they get those issues, you got to take, when you're outmanned, you can't give up the opportunities you get, because you're not always going to get those opportunities. So when you have an opportunity to score, to take a lead, tie the game, and get some momentum, man, you've got to jump on that. But Cincinnati just, they were up to the. I mean, they're not trying to let them win. They play the game for a reason.
Yeah.
Good job, Cincinnati. On the other hand.
All right, Jude. All right, Lindsay. What are your thoughts on this game?
I think the Bearcats did what everyone thought they would do, and I have to tip my hat to to how they played at post game. I think they're being a little kind when their head coach said that, I don't think we've ever played them but one time that didn't feel like it was coming down to the wire, down the stretch. It's a good ball club who always gives us the best. There's a fight in that crew that never quits. Well, I mean, you could say that about a 1-point game, but I don't know about a game that was as lopsided as this one was.
Look, I got a little black pussy right here.
Oh, meow.
Meow.
I thought you were a man. Who knew?
All right, Hunter. I know what you're going to say here, but go ahead and hit me with it.
Navy needed Tay Lavatai. I like Xavier Arline. I think he's a great player. He's a better slot back than he is quarterback inside the triple option. Really, just like Navy's got the horses defensively to basically hang with anybody that's on their schedule, except for maybe like a Power 5 team. But offensively, their linemen just aren't what they've been those last few years. The slot backs aren't what they've been the last few years, and the quarterbacks it's just not been what it needs to be. It's a little, still you get a little spoiled because every now and then you have your Keenan Reynolds or your Malcolm Perrys who come out and you're like, they operate the offense to perfection, and they're lightning fast and they score when they get free. And you have even Tay Lavatai operates the option really well. It's a lot more of a grinded out style with it, say the home run hitter style. But Xavier Arline he doesn't make the reads the way he needs to. The offense looks a little bit discombobulated. Really, it's obvious that Coach Ken's calling the read from the sideline. I don't want to get too much into the semantics or the schematics with the scheme, because then we'll be here all day. But basically, he's calling the play like when he goes that read's been made at the sideline. Coach Ken says, hey, fake the dive, read, run the quarterback sweep, or fake the dive, throw the pitch. He's not letting Xavier Arline make the read himself and make that last second decision to get those big plays. He lets Tay Lavatai do that, but Tay Lavatai's hurt. Xavier Arline obviously doesn't have that confidence from Coach Ken. And I think that you either need to give him that confidence or maybe change how you're doing something.
Well, and Arline came out of the game for a little bit today too. He was roughed up. So
yeah.
let's go on to our final service academy. The Coast Guard Academy played a nail biter with Worcester Polytechnical Institute, and they went down in double overtime, 30-24. But they played well ahead of their big matchup versus the Merchant Marine Academy, which we will be watching next week on TV. Now we're gonna probably stream during the middle of the day next week. We may have 2 streams on Saturday, but we're definitely streaming during the middle of the day. We are gonna watch some Merchant Marine Academy versus some Coast Guard Academy. Jude, are you excited about this or what?
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like I said, everybody in the games that for Salute to the Service, man, those are all people who are doing more for their country before 7 a.m. than I do all day. You know, I appreciate and respect all of them. I'm gonna always support what the military academies do. I always look forward to Army Navy, man. That's always a great game.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. All right, Lindsay, what are your thoughts on your hometown team, Worcester Polytechnical Institute, taking down the Coast Guard? Worcester. Worcester. We're gonna go to Worcester.
I got to hand it to them. They had a balanced offense, and they just had a better game plan going in, and a better execution of it. So it's always fun when things go down with double overtime. So good on them. I'm glad that they got the win. They deserve it. It's fun for the fans because I don't know how exciting their program really is. It's the kind of program that people go to realizing it's their last stop in a football career. So good for them. Get some excitement out of it. Give the fans something fun to watch. Those both of them who showed up, that is, and have a good time with it.
All the parents.
All right, here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and tell you what time this game's gonna start. Jude is not gonna like this. This could be like a 7 a.m. game for Jude.
Ouch.
Or 8 a.m. game. And it's on ESPN3. We're gonna be watching on the Trace, and the Merchant Marine Academy will be hosting the Coast Guard Academy. So we're going live early in the morning on Saturday. I'm just telling you right now, we're gonna do it. So
What time is that Central Time?
I'll be double dipping, man. I'll jump on the live stream. I'll talk some football, some military football, and you guys will probably see me doing a tune-up on a CRV.
I think it's 11 a.m. Eastern time. I could be wrong. We're gonna check the dates. I'll let everybody know. We're gonna have a good stream here. So back to the regular games now. Back to week 10. All right. I got feedback from somebody. Let's see who it is. I think it's Jude. Yep. All right, Jude, I'm gonna mute you for just a second. I'll bring you back on here in just a minute. Update on the Astros game. Bottom of the 8th. Astros are leading 4-1. The Astros are 3 outs away from being the World Series champions. So we'll keep you updated. I know there's a guy in California right now wearing green that's got a big smile on his face. All right, another update. Number 6 Alabama is leading LSU 31-24. And let's get back to week 10 in college football. We just covered some big stuff. Update my phone real quick. I'll hit the refresh button. Michigan's taking it to Rutgers 52-17. Wake Forest and Vanderbilt are still – Wake Forest is making a comeback. They are down 27-20 currently. Let's get some more games from earlier today. Number 18, Oklahoma, just gets destroyed by Kansas.
Touchdown LSU.
37-16. Kansas just ran and threw all over Oklahoma State today. Now, I know Hunter knows a lot about this game. So, Hunter, go ahead and lead us off with this one.
Tail of the tape just comes down to one thing. Oklahoma State without Spencer Sanders is just not a good team. For as much as he's been a hot and cold player throughout his career in college football, no Spencer Sanders, no victories. Oklahoma State didn't have much offense, and Kansas took advantage. Congratulations to the Jayhawks. First time they're bowl eligible in a millennium. Can't wait for them to play Texas and Lawrence.
Yep.
That'll be such a easy win for the Longhorns.
All right. Jude, what are your thoughts on Kansas destroying Oklahoma State today, 37-16?
And I caught part of this game on the radio, but listening to it, man, I was actually surprised. I know we all thought Kansas, was a Cinderella team at the beginning of the year. Then they got caught up in a 3-game losing streak, and I thought for sure it was going to be 4 by the end of the day. So I was happy that Kansas put it together, man. They didn't just give up on their season. And if I'm correct, I think they're bowl eligible now, and it's been a long time since Kansas has been in a bowl. So for a team to work hard, get themselves into a bowl, it's going to be great. Like I said, most wonderful time of the year, man. I can't wait to see the excitement on these young kids' faces that never played in the bowl. They go to Kansas, they don't go to bowl games. They go to Sweet 16s and Elite Eights. But man, now they're going to be in a bowl game. That's exciting for them. That's cool.
All right, Lindsay, what are your thoughts on this game?
There hasn't been a bigger turnaround for a program, I don't think, in college football history, right? In the previous 2 seasons, they had, 2 victories combined over the past 2 years? And they have to be bowl eligible now because of this very definitive victory. Fantastic for them. It's fun to see a program turn it around. And they were able to get the personnel and the game plans together and the players who are committed to that. And I love seeing stuff like that. It makes it a lot of fun, gives a fan something to root for. They can finally, to hold their chin up and feel good about their team. And something that's just a lot of fun to watch. So good on them. Congratulations to the team, to the coaching, the fans who deserve it. Let's see what they do from here.
All right, LSU's going for the 2-point conversion and the victory right now. I'm gonna pause before we move on to the North Carolina Virginia game.
Game ends here.
Yep, it's over. Touchdown. LSU wins.
Wow.
Let's go. Point.
Woo! I picked it.
Who picked LSU winning today?
Hunter did.
Wow, that's a bold move. Did you pick it hoping you were right, or did you pick it confident you were right?
I was confident.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
I gave them the breakdown of how I thought it happened.
Yeah, you missed it, Lindsay. He was you were there.
I didn't expect it like this. I didn't expect it to end in OT. I thought LSU was gonna just kind of win it in regulation. I thought it'd be a bit more points. I was wrong how they would do it. I thought they would win it with the passing game built off the run game. They just won it with the run game. It just looked like all night Alabama had nothing for LSU's run game, which is crazy to say. Alabama don't have anything for a run game. It's just wild. You always expect Alabama to have a stout run defense, and just LSU early on didn't have a lot going run wise, and then they broke through. And now they are in the driver's seat for the SEC West. Alabama may not play in the SEC championship, and if their 2 losses, Alabama is most likely not going to play in the college football playoff now. This is supposed to be the revenge year.
Two losses? No, they're not. It's not
they
most likely. They're out. That was it. Two lost teams. I don't think one's been in yet. But
LSU versus Georgia for the SEC title, is that what it's going to be?
Well, LSU's got to get to the mighty Texas Fighting Texas Aggies.
Yeah,
I actually didn't think Alabama was going to get there. Anyways, I think they're losing next week. But
who they play next week?
Ole Miss.
Ooh.
All right.
Well,
so let's get on to North Carolina and Virginia. North Carolina eke the win out. I mean, just typical Mac Brown football. They just go out and win. It's not pretty, but it's effective. Just the breakdown on this game. They were down at halftime by 4. Then they come back and they score 2 touchdowns in the third quarter to Virginia's 1. And they just kind of trade scores through the end. Like I said, Lindsay's quarterback here, Drake May, he threw 26 for 37 for 293 and 2 scores and no turnovers. So that's a good thing. I mean, when your quarterback doesn't commit any turnovers and he puts up almost 300 yards of passing, you have a pretty good chance of winning that game. Let's go with Jude on this game. Jude, did you watch this game at all? North Carolina and Virginia?
No, I didn't get a chance to watch any of that game. And I'm, like I said, I'm not even at home right now. I don't have my notes with me, so I don't even remember who I picked, to be honest. But I'll go ahead and pass that to the next person in line.
All right, Lindsay.
Well, you're not going to beat UNC in a shootout, and then you're missing some key players. It's certainly not going to happen. And today was a tale of that. And they were up against some stiffer competition. I thought they bargained for, especially given their depleted state that they're coming in there with. So it cost UVA, and there were poor situation decisions that were made on the field. The UVA defense has been pretty good. They've been pretty strong, but when it comes right down to it, when you're North Carolina and you've got and you've got what they've got coming in, you're going to pull out the win, and they did. Although it was just barely. It was a good, exciting game, nice and close. What you would like to see, and they're moving themselves closer to a title match. So good for them.
All right, Hunter, quickly give me your synopsis on UVA and North Carolina.
Drake May is that man. Drake May is the next Colt McCoy. He will win the Heisman. Maybe not this year, but he will win the Heisman in his college football career.
All right. On to unranked Michigan State taking down number 16 Illinois, 23-15. And talk about a beatdown. Michigan State was just covered in turmoil this whole last week. They've got like 8 players suspended. For them to come out and play this well, very impressive. Illinois jumped out to an early lead, and then basically it was all Michigan State all the way until the fourth quarter, and then Illinois got a late touchdown and a 2-point conversion to kind of even things out. So, what are your thoughts on this one, Lindsay?
How do you win a game when you didn't lead in total yards, you didn't lead in passing yards, you didn't lead in rushing yards, you didn't lead in yards per game, you were down about every statistic to your opponent, and you still eked out an 8-point win? I don't know. This one was would have been fun to watch. I didn't have a chance to do it, unfortunately, but you got to hand it to them. They had it when it counted, and at the end of the game,
what was the turnover margin?
Michigan State was the one that had the advantage. So, they held on when they had to, even though they didn't score in the fourth quarter at all. They gave up 8 points, but you got to hand it to them. They did it some way, and the wins don't have to be pretty to count. And this one was one of those ugly wins for sure, but they got it.
Hunter, what are your thoughts on this game?
Well, I didn't really see much of this game, but I had Illinois blanking Michigan State. I thought Michigan State was done, but much like how I'm about to leave this podcast, because I've made other commitments, it's addition by subtraction is what it looks like to me. It looks like the players that got in those fights were toxic to the team, were a bad influence, and you got rid of them, and this is a culture win for Mel Tucker, right? You take on a team that's supposed to be better than you in every way, and you beat them. You may not have had more yards, more plays, anything, but you still beat them. That's a culture win to me. That's a big win for Mel Tucker. That makes that $90 million a little bit more worth it. And that holds recruits, that says, hey, there's something to be seen here. And I'm going to hijack this real quick to give my thoughts on the big game of the day. Georgia won by doing exactly what I thought they needed to do. They kept Tennessee from running the ball and took away their pass game. It's always great talking to y'all. Great seeing the chat. Chef Shade Tree, Pat Paulson, Diabolical. It's great seeing y'all. Good seeing you, Jude, Lindsay.
Don't forget about Christian.
I was getting there, Christian. And it's a great week of college football. Awesome upsets all over the board. Unfortunately, my Bobcats lost because we hired a charlatan for head coach. Jake Spadwell. I paid my tuition, so apparently I paid your salary. So you suck. Anyway, have a great day. Fire Jake Spadwell.
All right, and Hunter's gone.
Hey, you gotta. I gotta apologize. I will jump back in, but I gotta watch the last 3 outs, man.
All right. Well, you're down to the last out right now, so you better hurry.
Oh, all right. So yeah. Let me. I'll jump back in a minute.
All right, that'll work.
All right.
All right, Lindsay. It's just me, you, and Christian. Y'all unmute yourselves. Let's go.
Thank you.
All right. Are we gonna watch the World Series, or what are we doing here? Are we watching World Series right now?
No, you can if you want.
All right. Well, I've got it. I've been watching the whole thing. All right, Lindsay, we're just gonna kind of rocket through this next top 25.
Sure.
A couple top 25s. Christian, chime in if you want to, bud. All right.
Yeah.
We have Penn State just beating down Indiana. I think somebody picked Indiana to beat Penn State. I don't know who that was. Was it Hunter or was it
me?
Or was it Jude? One of them. Silliness, I say silliness.
Yeah, I didn't pick that game at all for them. I can't say I'm surprised at the outcome of that game, to be honest with you. I would have, if that was one of my picks, I probably would have picked Penn State. I don't know that I would have had such a spread on the score, but I can't say that would be too much different from where I was going to land on that one.
Yeah, I mean it was Penn State early and often in this game. It was even Indiana came out with an early score and answer score to Penn State's touchdown, and it was just like Penn State all the way till like about 6 minutes left in the game, and then they just put Indiana away just early and often. The quarterback threw for 229. He had an interception. Sean Clifford did. They ran the ball 18 times for 86 yards, 3 touchdowns. So, I mean, there's stat line right there.
Indiana's really fell far from their 2020 season when they were kind of sitting on top of the world. It's just, I think, another continuation of their long, slow decline. Well, maybe not that slow, but they've lost 6 in a row now. And this is just evident of the problems that the program is having. They need to right the ship. And hey, if Kansas State can do it, they can do it. But they just have to get to work on doing it because it's not going to happen from this year for sure.
Yeah. Well, here's your 3 keys to the game, right? So the first down, Penn State had 27 first downs this game. 27. They also controlled the clock. They possessed the ball for 35 minutes and 53 seconds. They forced 3 turnovers and they only gave up 1 turnover. And they had 483 total yards to Indiana's 196. I mean, when you do that, that's called complete domination. They completely dominated but Indiana early and often. So, all right, 2 outs in the World Series, top of the 9th. Just let everybody know. Let's move on.
What's the situation? Is anyone threatening anything, or are they just waiting for the last out to be recorded here?
It's they got a runner on first, and Houston's up by 3 runs, so it's not really threatening. It's it is what it is. All right, let's move on to Arizona at Utah. Number 14, Utah takes down Arizona pretty handily. I mean, this game was over from the beginning. I mean, Arizona scored 10 points in the first half. Utah scored 28. So that kind of tells you, where they're at. And then, they just kind of answered Utah's, 10 points in the fourth quarter. It was just a good, good day. I mean, Cam Rising, 13 for 25, 151 yards and a touchdown. He didn't turn the ball over. He didn't do anything to hurt the team. He didn't do anything to help the team. And your 2022 World Series champion, Houston Astros. There you go. Titletown Houston Astros. So,
see, they don't have to cheat to win.
Congratulations to Houston for winning the 2022. Chef Shade Tree has it there. He calls it. He said Indiana just didn't have enough. They're going to meet the Buckeyes next. That is true. All right. So congratulations to the Astros. Back to football. All right. Yeah, it was just early and often. It was a complete domination by Utah. Cam Rising did what he needed to do. What are your thoughts?
No, and when you're Utah and you've had the ball for 38 minutes out of the game and Arizona's only had them for 22 minutes, you have more than 1 quarter's worth of possessions that the other team doesn't have. You're not going to lose that game. Today was clearly everything was running in their favor.
Yeah, I like those. Those are what you call comfort wins.
Yes.
You comfortably win that game.
The team that should have won. All
right, let's get to a team that's going to be moving up in the polls, and that's the number 8 Oregon Ducks. They won today. It's Colorado, but you got to remember, Colorado, they did try. They tried hard. It was close for the early portion of the game, but Oregon pulls down this win, 49-10. They were just too much for the Buffaloes. The Ducks just ran all over them. What are your thoughts on that one, Lindsay?
I'm a fan of the Ducks. I'm a fan of Bo Nix. I think they've got an excellent program. Players that are very good at what they're doing now. They're committed to the program, with the exception of the Ducks' opening embarrassing loss. They've strung together an outstanding season, and I love seeing what they're doing. I think Bo Nix should be in the conversation for Heisman contenders this year. Although honestly, I think that There's going to be some shuffling of that deck after this week, especially in last week. But I think he's in that conversation for sure, maybe an outlier. But I like the fact that they've got some creative offensive play calls. They've been able to string together definitive wins here lately. They're a lot of fun to watch.
I mean, you definitely can't discount Bo Nix right now. I mean, they're really he's got a really decent chance for a Heisman Trophy. So, when you can't take out. I mean, like the Pac-12 is wide open right now. You have 4 teams that are competing for possibly a spot in the college football playoff. You also have 4 players that are competing, or 3 players that are competing for Heisman contention too. I mean, you said Caleb Williams is not out of this yet. Bo Nix is definitely in it, and DTR shouldn't be discounted either.
No,
everybody's had a bad game. The only team that hasn't had a bad game is Georgia. Georgia is just, they're phenomenal. They have excellent defense, and they have a offense that just can make plays. And they're led by a super senior and Stetson Bennett. I mean, they're just a very difficult team to beat. So is that loss early in the year by Oregon really that bad? If you watch what Georgia's doing to everybody else in the SEC, it's a fact. Georgia's really good. They're the team to beat going into the college football playoff. They're gonna match up whoever they match up against in the SEC championship game. I will pick Georgia to win that game. So
yeah, I would too. Thoughts. I don't think that there's a reason to discount Georgia at all. If there's a team to beat now in all of college football, it's clearly them. And when you look at, we'll talk about it when we talk about their game with Tennessee, but when you look at how lopsided so many aspects of that game were, it really exposed Tennessee's flaws. And I think Georgia is the team that can look at their opponents, pick them apart, see where the deficiencies are, and exploit them. And they clearly did that today. And I have no reason to doubt that they will continue to do it.
All right, let's move on to number 7, TCU. Coming back and winning late versus Texas Tech. It took quite a bit. I mean, TCU was down for a large portion of this game. I mean,
they were.
And in the third quarter, they were down, 17-13. And then just a monster fourth quarter, just to come back win. Max Duggan, just pedestrian game, 12-23. I mean, you're at 50% passing. You throw for 2 touchdowns and almost 200 yards, but man, you just didn't do a whole lot. And then the running back carries the ball for 21. He carries 21 times for 158 yards and a score. And I think that's probably what rescued them throughout the game. It allowed the offense to stabilize, normalize, whatever it takes to get into a rhythm and go ahead and beat Texas Tech.
I caught the last half of this game, and to watch them just flip that switch for the fourth quarter was a lot of fun because there was such a big momentum swing after the third quarter. It was looking really good for Texas Tech. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, Jude picked Tech to win this game. And I remember thinking, ooh, that was a bold move. And, as the game's playing out, I'm thinking, it looks like Jude picked a good one. And then all of a sudden, whoop, the script flipped. It was all TCU in the fourth quarter, and they just walked away with it. And when you thought, well, maybe Tech will keep it close, nope. The wheels just came off their game entirely. And
I think if they play this game in Lubbock, they probably lose to Texas Tech. Mm-hmm. I don't know that you're going to win in Lubbock. I have my doubts on this one. But TCU, they really time possession. They had to get it back in the second half. So it was 34 minutes and 39 seconds, 25 minutes, 21 seconds. But check out the stats here, though. TCU has 429 yards of total offense. Texas Tech has 352. Texas Tech has 1 turnover, which could be the difference maker in this game. Mm-hmm. And then TCU had 24 first downs to Tech's 20 first downs. This is a lot of offense here. Not a lot of defense was played today in this game.
No.
Just saying. So, congratulations to TCU. Now they have a tough matchup coming up against Texas this week. Texas is not an easy out. You can't look at them as an easy out. They're not going to be an easy out. The Big 12 was not a lay-down conference. Now, if TCU doesn't win, Big 12's out of the national championship. It means that there's likely possibly 2 SEC teams playing in the college football playoff. And I don't know who else because Clemson went down today. But we'll cover them in a minute. Yeah. Let's get to The second largest game of the week. I'm going to say the second biggest game of the week. Number 6 Alabama goes to Baton Rouge, takes on number 10 LSU. LSU wins this in overtime, 32-31 on a gutsy play by Brian Kelly to call the 2-point conversion to go ahead and end that game. LSU had an answer for Alabama all day long. Now, this is a pretty heated rivalry game. It's not, Auburn and Alabama, but it's a big game. LSU takes it very seriously, and so does Alabama. They always play in tremendous games. Sometimes not the most highest scoring game, but they play in, pretty fairly competitive games. Lindsay, what are your thoughts on this game?
I was surprised, and I know I wish I had Hunter's confidence on this one because he saw LSU all the way in this one. I was not that confident, but when you break it down and you see how the game played out, it looks like all his predictions were coming true. The Alabama actually outgained the Tigers in total offense by over about 100 yards. The defense was able to generate 11 tackles for loss and 6 sacks, so they were formidable for sure. But the offense stalled too much in the first half. The defense couldn't get stops late in the game, and they didn't have that consistency that we've seen from them in earlier games in the season. And when you're playing like that against any top 10 team, and LSU came in ranked 10, when you play like that against a top 10 team, you can't expect to win. And sure enough, that proved to be the case today. If they had some better consistency there, maybe a better game. But I think Saban's been feeling kind of frustrated lately. And when you look at what I've been noting from Alabama since the start of their season, their proclivity for committing penalties is killing them. That was also the case today. They gave up almost 100 yards in penalties again by committing 9 for 91 yards. When you do that, you're giving your opponent far too much of the field. And it's something that if they don't stop that, it's going to be the thing that ultimately does them in. And it may have already done them in this year for any championship discussion. But I think that if you have to look at one thing and one thing only, it's start with your penalties. It's just undisciplined, sloppy play, and they give up way, way, way too many yards again.
Yeah, absolutely. It's unfortunate, they're a good team, but man, they're just, like you said, the penalties are really just unraveling them, and it's something that Saban's going to have to work on. All right, let's get to Michigan and Rutgers. Rutgers was in this game early. At halftime, I think Rutgers had a tiny lead. I think it was 17-14, something like that. And Michigan came out in the second half and said, we're here. We're play. Let's go. They hang 28 points on Rutgers in the third quarter and another 10 in the fourth and just dominate them. Blake Corum had 20 rushes for 109 yards and 2 scores. J.J. McCarthy was pedestrian, 13 for 27, 151 yards. And so Rutgers quarterback had 3 interceptions, and they didn't run the ball very well. So,
nope.
Michigan had total yards was 433 to 180, and then Rutgers had 3 turnovers. Michigan had 21 first downs. Rutgers had 5. If you just get five. I'm surprised they got 17 points on 5 first downs. It's kind of interesting. They played this game in New Jersey too. So when they went to Piscataway and they played Rutgers, they get a win. Sometimes road trips aren't the funnest thing in the world.
No,
I think you got what you got. All right, what are your thoughts on this game? Michigan handling their business.
Well, I picked Michigan to win 35-17, so their offense was a little more productive than I thought it would be on Michigan's side. Rutgers was right around where I thought they'd be, and they had a first half scare there, but they flipped it to rout them in the second half of the game. I didn't see that happening. I thought it'd be a little bit closer, but still, when you turn a 3-point halftime deficit into an 18-point lead, you got you're running on all cylinders. You got your game plan together. Everyone's executing the way they should, and Harbaugh just shut the door on them. And when you score 3 touchdowns in a short amount of time, have 3 interceptions and short fields, when you stack up the game in your favor that much, you're going to win the game. And, their senior linebacker, Michael Barrett, had a couple of interceptions. He turned one into a 31-yard touchdown. I mean, they were just all over this thing. It was all them once they flipped the switch and ran with it.
Yep. Yeah, let's dip into a few comments here. Let's say hi to number one Buckeye. Hey, say hi to Chef Shade Tree. Scott, thanks for joining us.
Hey,
let's
Chef.
say hi to Diabolical 58. Let's say hi to Pat Paulson and our guy, Cool Jude Santa Cruz, who'll be joining us soon. I'm sure he's watching us as well as, watching the post game for the Astros.
Well, he's taking a champagne bath right now in his virtual Astros dugout or locker room.
That works too. Too. We're good.
He's going to come in with his champagne goggles on and be all drenched with bubbly.
Yep. So we'll say hi to all those. There's a lot of excitement from number one Buckeye fan and Chef Shade Tree. They're both Big Ten guys, both Ohio State guys, by the way.
Hey, Schmitty and Tarek just stopped in.
Tarek and Doug, thanks for joining us. Doug's one of my favorites.
Good to see you guys.
Like on Instagram, if you want to follow somebody great on Instagram, Schmitty71. Awesome follow. Tarek, tcxtools.com. Gotta go check it out. You'll find mediocre tools and low quality footwear and vegan cuisine. So check it out. I know somewhere Joey Preciado is watching. So Joey, you're stressing us out. You have to join us at some point, Joey. Have to join us. All right, Lindsay, let's talk about a big upset here. Upset that I called. Notre Dame takes down Clemson 35-14. And pretty much what I thought would happen. Clemson had to go and play Notre Dame's game. Notre Dame, likes it when you try to run right up the middle at them. Notre Dame's going to run the ball right at you. Notre Dame takes down Clemson. Clemson made a ton of mistakes. Both quarterbacks had to play. Neither one of the quarterbacks played really very well at all. Bad DJU and inexperienced Cade Klubnik. No, it was not great. So
no, it wasn't. You called it. I didn't. I had it the other way. I thought that Clemson was going to win 34-24. But when you're Clemson and you cough up a couple of interceptions and you can only rush for 90 yards and you only pass for 191 yards and you have a total yards of 281 in the game, where are you going to move the ball? It's not going to get into the end zone too many times. No. And that was the case here. They just did not have it. And I don't know if they were gas coming in or what the reason was, but
Joey, I called Joey's name and he appears. Joey, do you want a link?
Joey, get on this stream now. Send him a link.
I don't have his email. Jude's got it. Joey. God, you're stressing me out, Joey. Come on.
Joey,
you're stressing Christian out. Look, Christian had to sit on the back of the chair now. Come on, Joey. All right. Let's get to another game. Now, the score is not indicative of the game. The weather had a huge factor in this game. Ohio State 21, Northwestern 7. Say that 3 times fast. I dare you. Man, Ohio State just looked pedestrian in this game. It just wasn't good. But I think the biggest problem in this game was the weather. It was only they had 100-mile-an-hour wind or something.
They did. They had no passing game. They kept it all on the ground. Both teams did.
Yeah, C.J. Stroud had 76
passing yards for Ohio State, 79 for Northwestern. You're not going to throw the ball in high winds. So it was all a ground game for both teams. Though the rushing yards are only different by 1, 207 to 206.
The total yards is Northwestern at 285. Yeah.
Yeah. So low penalties. No
turnovers either. Northwestern held the ball for 36 minutes. So I mean to tell you, it's 17 first downs, 13 first down. It's a ground game. This is a total ground game, right?
It was. And here's the other indicator. When you're putting up anemic passing and rushing yards, and you're still putting the ball in the end zone, this is a game of field position. And that was what they were up against. And Ohio State had better field position more often than Northwestern, and they were able to move it more effectively for the very short yards that they had to move the ball. So congratulations, number one Buckeye. You got yourself a good win there. You didn't look good, but the win was terrible. It certainly was. And a win is a win, especially when you're up against those kinds of conditions. Good to see that they could pull it out.
Yeah, whether it's by 1 or 100, I'll take it every time.
Yeah.
I like this. So we have number one Buckeye, obviously a Buckeye fan, with Chef Scott Shade Tree, Buckeye fan. We got JWC Tech, Michigan fan. I like it. I like having this in here. This is great. And we got Schmitty71, Nebraska fan, but he's a fan of college football too. He watches the whole thing, which is awesome.
Nice.
Okay, Joey says he's moving to Texas tonight after the, let's go Horn Frogs. You got the horn right. You got the frogs wrong. The frog party.
Finally, Joey, get down here.
Yep. Joey, big shop now, 4,000 square feet. We can work on Skyless now.
Yeah.
You never know. All right, let's talk about the 900-ton elephant in the room. Number 1, Tennessee travels to Georgia, takes on the Bulldogs, and it's number 1 in I say this. I'm being polite here. Number 1 in name only. Georgia's the best team in the nation. They proved it time in and time out. I know I got some Buckeye fans in here, but and they're gonna play. It looks like they're gonna play. So I'm excited about it. Everybody's excited about it. So number 1 Buckeye fan, Scott, JWC Tech. It's gonna happen. They're gonna play. Michigan and Ohio State are gonna play, and then we know who else is gonna play. All right, let's talk about Georgia and Tennessee. Lindsay, what are your thoughts on this game?
It was a lower scoring game than I thought it would be, but the results were what I had picked, and it was a fun game to watch. In that, sometimes it's when you're watching the Battle of the Titans, and that's what this game was. These are 2 of the top ranked teams in football, just trading blow for blow, and then Georgia just got an advantage and never let up. Their defensive line was relentless. And I don't know what the stats were on sacks, but they had a bunch of them. There was later on in the game, I think they sacked Hooker 3 times in a row. They were just pedal to the metal all game long. Hooker looked lost. He was not the Heisman contender that we know him to be. And Georgia's offensive line was fantastic. They gave a lot of protection. They were everywhere they needed to be, and Georgia kind of was in cruise control from the outset. When you keep Tennessee out of the end zone for the first 3 quarters of the game, and then give up the first touchdown to the Vols late with I think 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter, this game's in the bag, and that was the case here. When you have a team like the Volunteers, who are very good in a lot of categories, but don't often play another top-ranked team like the Bulldogs. When you do play a team that good, all your flaws are going to show, and that's exactly what happened here. So, they didn't have the protection in the offensive line that they needed. He looked a little lost in the pocket. He got
might be 3 months. Might be 3 months for me.
Not where we thought it would be. He didn't have a passing touchdown this whole game. And when was the last time he didn't have a passing touchdown in a game? I don't even know. So It was all Bulldogs all the time. They had Tennessee's number. They used it to their advantage and to great effect. So congratulations to the Bulldogs for trouncing Tennessee the way they did.
Yep. Jude, what are your thoughts on Tennessee and Georgia here?
Oh, man, that's the game I actually said. the one game I watched almost all of it. Tennessee couldn't do anything against that defensive front that Lindsay was just talking about. And he said he wasn't sure how many sacks Georgia had today. Well, I think from late in the third quarter on, they had just all you have to do is count how many times Hendon Hooker dropped back. That's how many sacks they had. they were just hitting him. It was not stopping. I mean, whether it was a sack or he scrambled around and got a half a yard and then got tackled, they were on him. Georgia, man, there's all game long. I kept hearing the commentators say that this is a team that last year had 5 number 1 picks, five first-round draft picks off their defense, and their best player this year was on the sideline because he hurt his shoulder. So that goes to tell you how Kirby Smart's recruiting. He's recruiting studs, and he's recruiting studs on defense because I think he's got a very pedestrian quarterback. Yeah, he's getting it done because he's got a lot of 5-star players around him. But man, I don't think look at Bryce Young. He's probably the best. He won the Heisman last year, and he was a Heisman candidate, up until probably again today. But he plays better against Georgia because or again. Well, I guess I'm getting confused. I'm getting ahead of myself. What I'm trying to say is that if Georgia recruited a top recruit at quarterback, they could probably be the
Alabama.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, they could probably, if they could just get a quarterback. Every year you think they get him, but something happens to him. Like they got the JT Daniels with the transfer, but I don't know how in the heck. I think it was unfair that he lost his job to injury because he was winning. I think they were undefeated when he was playing, but I'll just give it to the team, man. They're playing well. They really surprised me. I thought Tennessee offense was going to be unstoppable, and we talked about the irresistible force and the unmovable object. Well, I guess the unmovable object won because the irresistible force, I think, had 6 points, 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter.
I'm gonna bring up a name. I'm gonna give you a name, and this is a hidden figure here, hidden stat. The play of Kelee Ringo is what shut down Tennessee's offense. Kelee Ringo was able to cover their best receiver without a problem. I mean, he intercepted a pass so he looked like he was the wide receiver on the play. Kelee Ringo is definitely the best cover corner or best defensive back in the nation right now. He'll definitely be a top pick.
Even the few times that Hooker had, one Mississippi, two Mississippi, three Mississippi to get rid of the ball, he had nowhere to go. That's why he was scrambling for his life because the receivers that were getting man coverage had absolutely locked down defense today. I mean, the corners and the safeties, they were locking down those receivers. They had nothing for him. Ringo shut down Hyatt, man. He absolutely did. And then when he wasn't on Hyatt, he shut down that other dude, McLean or whatever his name was.
Brew McCoy?
McCoy, yeah.
You should know who Brew McCoy is.
Is that a
he's the guy that left USC, went to Texas, went back to USC, then went to Tennessee.
Yeah, that's who. But man, Georgia solidified their spot. They weren't the number one in the college football playoff, but they're going to be number one in the college football playoff now. Absolutely. I don't care what Ohio State. In fact, Ohio State looked very pedestrian. Again, I know there was a lot of weather, but they looked very pedestrian. 21-7 against Northwestern, and I think Northwestern was on like a 7-game losing streak. I think there's no doubt Georgia is hands down. I think they get every single number one vote this week. I don't think Ohio State gets any number one votes.
I need Schmitty 71 to cover his ears real quick. Northwestern's only win this year was against Nebraska.
Stat of the day.
Christian, did you watch any of the Georgia-Tennessee game today?
I'm not sure. I don't think so. I think I might have watched it. When was it? Was it this morning?
Well, it was midday.
It was 2:30 your time.
I think I watched some of it, but I don't remember any of it.
Are you on drugs today?
That's all right. Okay, Christian, give us a thought on the Houston Astros.
I think that they are an awesome baseball team. And,
they're not a Big 12 team. They're an MLB team. The Astros.
I said baseball.
Oh, baseball team. I thought you said Big 12 team.
Huh. One of my friends has a baseball team where they all play, and one singular person on that team was a fan of the Padres, and they could have gone to the World Series, but they didn't. And it was funny because just because my friend told me that right after the Padres lost, I thought that was kind of funny. And the hat that I was wearing at the beginning of stream is right here. I got that at the game that we went to earlier in their season.
Yep. You got it? Show us your hat. Show us your hat real quick. Christian and his mom and his dad are all big Astros fans.
Oh, nice.
Nice.
So
very cool hat.
Yep. They watch. I'll tell you what, this is how big Astros fans they are. They'll watch almost all the games throughout the year. Like that's one of their favorite things to do. They'll watch almost all the Astros games.
Yeah, when they're on, man, I try to catch them. That's like I know it's the World Series and it's kind of very important versus a middle of the year college football game, but I absolutely like I have no clue as to what the score for the USC game is right now. But I was watching that Astro game.
You want me to tell you?
Now you say it like that, not really, but yeah, go ahead.
13-7 USC.
Okay. You scared me, man.
All right. I want to talk about, we got a couple other games that we have to talk about. Florida takes down Texas A&M 41-24. Just a huge beatdown. Texas A&M's in the dumpster right now. I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not sure.
Hey, is Dumbo on the hot seat?
No, they owe him too much money. The guy, they're going to need him to like pay some hookers with a bad check or something to get out of that contract.
So it can be done.
Yeah, so it can be done.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I'm saying there's a chance. Iowa takes down Purdue 24-3. Western Kentucky blows out Charlotte 59-7. The Silver Helmets play.
Oh, we got a hater in the crowd.
What?
Joey Preciado, Cal versus USC. USC is going to lose.
All right. Now we have here's another big game too. Hunter, this was his Power 5 game or Group of 5 game of the week. UTSA beats University of Alabama Birmingham 44-48 or 44-38 in 2 overtimes.
Good call for Hunter.
Yep.
I think the second biggest upset of the day. Liberty takes down Arkansas 21-19, and Arkansas was down by 17 points late in this game. Like late in the fourth quarter. So congratulations to Hugh Freeze and Liberty for beating Arkansas. And this was with a backup quarterback and a backup running back for Liberty. So they didn't have their starters in. They beat them with their backups. That just shows you when you don't come prepared, you lose games. And then in the basketball game of the week, I'm kidding, it's football. SMU beats Houston 77-63. 77. Take it. 140 points were scored in a college football game. Unbelievable.
Hey, I want to just I know we've got some loyal fans that do watch most of our live streams, and number one Buckeye and Joey Preciado. I really hope you guys feel better. That scarlet fever you guys have must be really bad for you guys to both be saying Cal is going to beat USC. But I hope you guys both feel better soon. Please, I really hope you feel better soon.
All right. Let's take a little peek at some action. You want to take a peek at some action? If you don't want to watch election coverage on Tuesday night, you have Eastern Michigan traveling to Ohio to take on Akron. You have Ohio traveling to Miami of Ohio. You have Ball State traveling to Toledo. They must not want people to vote in Ohio or something. It's crazy. They have 3 Ohio games going on Tuesday night. On Wednesday night, you got Northern Illinois going to Western Michigan. You have Buffalo going to Central Michigan. And you have Kent State going to Bowling Green. Thursday night, you have Tulsa going to Memphis. That should be a good game. Tulsa's not a terrible team. They're not great. They're not terrible. They're definitely the best 3-6 team in the nation right now. Memphis 4-5 should be an entertaining game. Georgia Southern's traveling to take on the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana. And then on Friday, there's a whole slate of games on Friday, including Jude's USC Trojans taking on the Buffaloes from Colorado. I think USC is going to win this game handily. Jude doesn't even need to watch. It'll be okay. You can rest easy. East Carolina travels to Cincinnati to take on the Bearcats, and Fresno State goes to UNLV to take on UNLV. What are they, the Running Rebels? I don't know. Are they still the Rebels? I don't know. Joe, you missed it. We already covered the Jayhawks. We already got them. So you have to tune in on Wednesday night to find out who we're picking. All right. And remember, not this upcoming week, but next week, we will have a special guest, a Heisman Trophy winner. Am I telling the truth, Jude?
Absolutely.
Yep. So we'll let you guys know this week.
Tell everyone you know to watch our show, man, because they will be graced by the presence of a Heisman Trophy winner,
an actual real deal Heisman Trophy winner. This isn't one of those deals like meet the man that met Andy Griffin. This is the real deal Heisman Trophy winner. All right, so that's gonna be our show. We're about the hour 20 mark. We've kind of covered it all. I think we're all about ready to go and celebrate the Astros win. Let's start with Christian. Christian, what do you got here, bud?
This is a fun live stream. Let's go Astros. Boo Trojans. Back to you, Cass.
All right, guys. Just because my boy's not here, I'm going to say it his way. In order of importance: go Astros, go Cowboys, and you cannot spell SEC without the letters SC. Fight on.
Thanks, everyone, for joining in the chat and watching. We really do appreciate it. Make sure that you get other folks to watch and subscribe so we can make our giveaway at the end of the year something to be proud of. Thanks to Pat Paulson, Joey Preciado, number one Buckeye, Chef Shade Tree, Smitty71. Doug, thank you very much for watching. JWC Tech. And if I missed anybody, Diabolical 58. I apologize, but thank you all so much for watching. We appreciate it. And we will see you on Monday.
All right. Once again, like Lindsay said, I want to thank everybody that's in the chat tonight. Schmitty71, Chef Shade Tree, Diabolical 58, Joey stressing me out, Preciado, Pat Paulson, number one Buckeye, JWC Tech. Who else do we have? Did I miss anybody? I don't want to leave anybody out.
Chef?
I think I got everybody. Chef. I got Chef. I got JWC Tech. I got Pat Paulson. I got Diabolical 58. You guys are awesome. Remember, 500-ish subscriber giveaway. Heisman Trophy winner coming up. You're going to get it all here on Wide Right CFP. That's Wide Right College Football. And we'll do alternative ending today. Just remember, roses are red, the Pacific is blue. USC streak ended it too. Hook 'em. I'm kidding, Jude. I'm kidding. Oh,
no, I love it, man.
And remember, the team that scores the most points always wins the game. Thanks for watching.